Welcome to the Rise Above Your Challenges show. This is Patricia Jo Grover, where we turn believers into achievers and we rise above our challenges. Today, we have Christine Jerry. Welcome to the show, Christine.
Thank you so much, Patty. It's
Yeah.
just an honor, honestly.
I'm going to share a little bit about what you with our guests and viewers today. So, Christine has always had a special place in her heart for helping entrepreneurs grow their small businesses online. She started her first blog in 2011 and she spent every quarter mastering one new layer of SEO, content marketing, Pinterest, website design, and graphics. Since then, she's helped scale her clients' businesses to six figures and seven figures with using her agency. And yes, with the financial wins that she's given them have been awesome, but ultimately it was the options it created for them that filled her cup. So, as a wife and a mother, she loves seeing families come together because they can afford to make time for themselves. So
Yes,
that's so great and awesome thing because so many of my viewers and listeners, Christine, are entrepreneurs that are trying to grow their businesses. So wonderful.
yes. I really appreciate it. It is the most rewarding compliment or that compliment when somebody says, I got to accomplish this, or it is my first holiday off from being in my business that I really unplugged and spent time with my family. And it's to me, that's the most rewarding part of the whole process.
Yes, yes. So I don't know if you've heard this about me, Christine, but I am at the point in my life. I don't know if it has to do with my maturity or the wisdom that I've gained through the years, but I choose to live my life now purposely, joyfully, and gratefully. And to me, that's the perfect trifecta. All those little circles, and where they meet in the middle, that's bliss. And I want
Absolutely.
to with what I do and what I teach my clients and viewers and listeners is to help people, more people, be able to find that same spot for themselves.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
also different. It's so custom to our hearts that I love that you can pinpoint that for the individual. That's amazing.
Right, right. It is all about and when I help people as a achievement strategist to help them achieve their biggest dreams and goals, but it's also to help them to learn to know, like, and trust themselves. It really comes down to that.
Very true. I think we're so used to hearing that as getting our audiences to know, like, and trust ourselves.
Right,
But that is the first time I really heard it as far as ourselves. That is
right.
phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's if for us to be able to achieve, we have to have all those things if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So awesome. So I have questions for you.
Okay,
Okay.
ready.
All right. Was there a moment in your life when you realized things were actually as they were supposed to be?
Yes. My son was born 9 weeks early, premature. So we did spend the first 27 days of his life, in the NICU. And I had been battling that feeling of why did I lose my father so early? I had lost him in 2008 to cancer, and Hayden was born in 2013. And it was in that moment I was like, there is no other way that my son could have had 24/7 presence of family if my dad hadn't passed.
Wow.
Because I knew my dad's spirit was there by his side when we had to go home and be with my daughter. And I realized that sometimes it's really easy to battle that feeling like, why? Why did this happen? And when you have that moment of clarity where you're like, I finally understand that, there were moments that happened in between where I'm like, I needed my angel. Now I understand. It came together. So there was that very clear moment where I had my aha moment of something so big like that.
Exactly, exactly. And that I'm sure it was sad and it was very difficult, but in another way, you felt a blessing of that after the
Yes.
fact. Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It all goes back to that, like, there is a reason. We don't always see it. It doesn't matter what you believe. There's a reason things happen in the order they happen, and it's definitely not always to see, but there will come a point where that that revelation occurs and it hits you pretty hard.
Right, right. And what I say with that, in the same idea, Christine, is that when we are on our journey to goal achievement, we have what we want. We know what we want. We've set the times. We want to achieve this by here. We want this then. But we all know too. If anybody is a believer in God, and they say, God has set. They already have. He already has these things set for us when things are going to happen, and they don't necessarily happen on our own timeline. It's when it's supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
And so you kind of have to go back to that. But but it is, when I work with people, it is, God helps those who help themselves. So you have to put the action steps towards making that difference and change for yourself. So, but such a good thing to understand and realize, that, Christine, is that it was supposed to be, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is. Like, I think going forward from that moment, it provided me a new tool as I'm going through other challenges or another roadblock. I'm like, take a step back because I know there's a reason. I may not see it now, but that's okay. I have no control over that. We're just going to ride this out.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, fantastic. So now another one. What held you back from really seeing your own value?
So, the community I was raised in, are culturally, there are some restraints. And I don't think we talk about that a lot in general. Like, what are the things you're raised to believe is right and wrong? Whether, I mean, they're not bad right or wrongs in the sense that something's illegal or any of those things. But I was raised in an with an Asian upbringing, a Japanese upbringing, where we don't talk about money, we don't talk about our feelings, we don't women. I mean, like, in a lot of patriarchal societies, it
Right.
we have our place. We should not be making more than our spouses or significant. We're just quiet. We don't make waves. So those are the pillars that I was raised with. And as develop your business, those are some big areas that you have to be comfortable with. And it's to this day, it's something that's uncomfortable, but I kind of have to self-talk myself through it before I go anywhere or speak to anybody. It's, yes, you are worth it. Yes, it's okay to speak about these things. Yes, you can own them and be proud of them. You should not be embarrassed of the money you make or the successes you create. So that is a constant talking point with myself before I get to speak to anybody, because if I show up and I'm embarrassed of what I've achieved, I can help no one. It
Right.
serves nobody.
Oh, and that is so so true. And I applaud you, Christine, for figuring out this yourself. Many people have a difficult time figuring things out and themselves. And what I the basis of what I do with my clients and for my whole business is helping people, and I even wrote a book about it. The book is living outside the box that we put ourselves in. Okay, we put ourselves in, or we allow other people to put us in that box. But it all starts with the limiting beliefs. And those beliefs we learn, and can be as young as childhood. That's how we start seeing and having our belief windows start to form, how we think we show up and what we can have, do, or
Yes.
be. And all that starts can be start we start getting those feelings and messages way back when we're children. So it's all about changing the our belief window and what we're seeing out that window for us and the possibilities that lay ahead of us. So I applaud you in that.
Thank
And,
you.
and
Yes.
so now you know this, but sometimes it does still sneak back in, doesn't it? So
Right.
Right. And
It's it is a matter of, I know it's there. So just like anxiety, every now and then I have anxiety attacks when I feel overwhelmed or like I don't have a handle on things. And it's just like those moments. If I can name it, if I can put and just say, you know what, this is what that is. I can't control it by a choice, but I can acknowledge it and move, like just walk step by step into a different direction.
exactly. And that's exactly what I teach my clients to do, Christine, is to name it. You know, it's just like when somebody has baggage of any kind, I say we have to name it and claim it. Everybody has it. It's people don't there aren't
Yes.
people that don't have it because it is there. It's to name it and claim it and then really take it and break it down because if it is something and we'll use fear as an example and people have fears. We all have them, and they're different at different times for different things. But if we take that and we break it down, and we can make it so it's not so powerful over us, and that's what it's all about. And you've learned what works for you, you
Yes.
know, and that's such a fabulous thing because we can't let those things hold us back from what is out there in front of us. You know, you've heard, and you may have heard people say, you know, that stuff, it's in the rear view mirror. Let it go, learn from it, don't let it hold you back, but focus on what's out the windshield. What is it you're heading towards, because that's the most important thing.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Completely. Yes.
Yeah, so awesome. And I know all the wonderful things that you're doing, you know, with your own business. And I know, and I'll let the viewers and listeners in on something. You are on a mission to get your husband home and not having to go to work to his job anymore. That's what you're trying to do with your business, is create that, so that your family can be together more and do more together.
Yes. It is. I can acknowledge that I love being a mom. Like I won't, I love being a mom, but I can honestly say that my husband is a much more fun parent. So when the kids have to have school from home or even just the day to day, that when I had a very special bond with my dad, but it bloomed later in life,
Right.
let's just say. It was something that we built after I graduated from high school. And knowing that life is so precious, we've lost quite a few people in our family, that I want them, my children, to have the opportunity to spend as much time with us as possible. And it's the experiences we make together, not necessarily how much money mommy brings home or daddy brings
Right.
home. If they, if they are raised having a weekend in, maybe Flagstaff, which is just north of us, and just unplugging and just being together, that's worth it. It's the experiences we can create together.
Exactly. And that's a beautiful thing. And that being of that utmost important to you is going to affect those children well into adulthood and how they choose to live their life and raise their families.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that that's where the whole breaking the mold came from, because I can look back and see this is a whole new generation of, um, you know, proud Japanese kids. They're mixed kids as far as nationalities go, and they they can mark that box that says Asian Pacific Islander because they are both, and not have the same restraints that maybe we were raised with. I have a daughter that's 13. She loves to do visual design and graphic arts, and something she develops because she saw mommy playing on Adobe Illustrator. It's something she started when she was younger. So she does anime drawings. And I love seeing that she can say, I really love this one. Can I show it to you? Because she's owned that talent and she's
Right.
not embarrassed because she's never brought up to be that way.
Right.
And for me, that changed a whole generation and their children on.
Yeah. Oh, and
So,
that's such a beautiful thing. Oh my goodness, it really is. Just the joy, the joy,
hmm
and bringing joy into your life and your children's life, and knowing that it's a blessing. It's a good thing to be able to have that and show that, and show your creative side, and the potential, and it's just
hmm
like letting loose and letting free, and like you said, it's not it's not any bad thing when you say let loose and be
yes.
be be wild. It's not letting loose in a bad negative way
hmm
like that. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So how did you find value in a voice, and have making that difference?
The biggest thing for me in both finding both value and voice is that I stopped worrying about like what would somebody else say. And I'm not going to say it never happens. That would be a lie.
Right.
I just learned how to hear that voice and tell it to go somewhere else. So when I hear that self-doubt coming in, I can sit there and be, but I did this, so I deserve this, and being okay with that type of language before building a business and becoming an entrepreneur. That would have been something that was not like me at
Right.
all. I would have just said, oh, things are good. And that would be the end of the sentence.
Right.
Now I can be in a meeting with other entrepreneurs and say, this is my goal. And having that voice to be like, I can say this out loud, and I can say it out loud in front of other people because it is worthy. I am worthy. The business I've built is worthy, and the legacy I'm creating is worthy. So, because of that, in the last year, we've spread that message in our agency with our clients, well, and with our agents or our network partners. Is that really empowering? It's a really empowering way to speak to everybody. So they grab and gravitate to it. They grab a hold and they start speaking that language. And last year we had 13 new businesses developed because of it. And those moms get to stay at home and build a business from home using their skill set, whatever their superpower is, and they get to be proud of it. So that for me, seeing that was the difference I was meant to make, is just having more families together.
Oh, and again, that so wonderful, and a beautiful thing. So we've learned a lot. Actually, we've learned a lot about you, Christine, and how you've grown, and how you've grown because you chose to become an entrepreneur. Do you believe these changes would have happened if you didn't take the road of becoming an entrepreneur?
Absolutely not. I don't think I would have been challenged enough to really make decisions or be pushed certain ways to, create the question that creates the change.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my job, I mean, I had worked since I was 17, so that's how the business started, was because I worked from 17 and becoming a stay-at-home mom, I lost sight of how I provided value,
Right.
because I defined my success of how much money I brought home with. So it was a rub, right? Because it's like you don't talk about it, but you got to do it.
Right.
Um, so had I still been in my job, I definitely wouldn't have been pushed or challenged the way I needed to be to open certain doors, like revisit certain things from the past, clean it up, deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
move on, and even acknowledge that in business, you need to know your value. You need to know how to use your voice to maneuver in the chaos of this online space, because everybody's kind of on a level playing field right out the gate. So what sets us apart, really?
Right. Right. So many of the things that you've learned on your journey in your personal life has benefited you in your professional life, and vice versa.
Vice versa, for sure.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So what would you tell our viewers and listeners who have, because of what's happened with the pandemic, and it's
Hmm.
affected, internationally, worldwide. So everybody is dealing with effects that have to do with this. But
Hmm.
people who are now trying to start new businesses and finding their voice and doing all these things because it's all new for them. And you yourself again have been there in two different ways of coming out for yourself and showing up for yourself so you could show up for others, but also for your business. So what tips would you have for them?
When you're first coming out and you're like, okay, I'm going to make this pivot into owning my business or owning a business, I want everybody to find their superpower because that's the thing that you're going to ride throughout the process because that's something I can do this. Like, you know, um, at a snap of the finger, I am so like comfortable in this because you want to start with something you're comfortable, not that you're going to ride comfort the whole time, but combining that with your why. So I always had the family all together at home as a goal before the pandemic hit. That had been a goal because I come from a uh, divorced parents and upbringing, and having to the opportunity to choose opposites, to
Right.
choose to go through the stuff that even if it's hard, we're going to go through it together. So for new entrepreneurs, I think having that why in front of you will always push you through the hard stuff. But found, creating a foundation of confidence because you're using your superpower to stabilize every now and then. So combine those two things, and I know you will get very, very far in your journey, and it will constantly be a learning experience for sure.
Exactly, Christine, and those things are all things that I work with my clients on. It is so true. All the points that you made are 100% true. And you do have to learn what your purpose is. You have to understand and figure out what your why is. And then you have to be able to allow yourself, and this is where you may have struggled, and many people do, is allowing themselves to know that they are worthy, to know that they're capable, they're not in this alone, and that there is so much out there for them for possibilities of achievement, and allowing themselves to dream. And many people have a difficult time with that. So that's I help people with that too, because uh, you're familiar with vision boards,
Yes.
right? Okay. And many people are, but what I teach people is sensory vision, and I help them to see in 5D, so they get that feeling of the when they have achieved this dream or goal, when they close their eyes, they can feel it not just physically but emotionally. They know what it feels like, smells like, sounds like, tastes like, so that when they put their purpose and their vision and their why all together, they're unstoppable. And that's just what so many people need to keep them fueled, because everybody, and we have to be honest, life happens to every single one of us whether we're ready for it or not, and you're going to come up against difficulties and detours on your journey.
Yes.
Yes.
That is like, that is so powerful just to hear you say that because it is like when you have clarity in all the things that you help your clients with, you can like just feel that it, whatever that goal is, like I can feel it in my heart and like envision what the day looks like.
Yes.
And I'm really like, I smell, I know
Right.
this is gonna
Again,
sound funny.
no, it
I,
doesn't. To me, I totally get you, and that's Christine. What you're doing in your head is what I teach people how to be able to do. So this is a good match today to share this with our viewers and listeners, because it is so important. And I get and I understand what you can you're thinking the day that he says goodbye to work and he's coming home, you can smell it, you can see what's going to
yes,
happen, you can
I
feel
can
it.
smell the breakfast on the table.
Right, exactly. And I that gives me goosebumps, and that is really so important. So I applaud you, my dear. I applaud you and what you've been able to do for yourself. And we just got to get more people to be able to do that and have those the sensory vision to be able to connect to their purpose and their why.
Absolutely, because we can't wait. Like, I know your heart is very, like, our brands are in alignment in so many different
Yeah.
ways. And I can't wait to see the entrepreneurs that you help this year, that their whole world is just going to take this pivot into a, a different level of success that's beyond finances.
Yeah.
It's empowerment. And thank you. Thank you for putting out programs like this. And thank you for creating a book, that direct gives them that initial direction.
Right. It's the tool.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's the tool to use to get you on the path to achievement. So, but now let me go back with our conversation, Christine, because we've talked about personal levels and business too. But let's go back to what it is that you do for your clients, because what you do actually is to help entrepreneurs grow their small businesses online. And we want you to be able to get more clients understanding what it is you do and can provide for them. But you, I believe, when you're working with the people you're working with, you're doing it from a connected level to them, and you're understanding what it is that they actually do, so that you can get them the best, we'll say, bang for their buck. You get
Yes.
you get them the emotional connection to their marketing strategy.
Absolutely. So with our clients, we see them from different stages, whether they're brand new businesses, maybe they've had a brick and mortar for a while and they want to pivot to the online space. We focus on the online space because we do remote work. So all of our network partners, they all own their own businesses. They provide different services. We come together and we create the best package for a client, like as far as to make sure if they need content, let's get them the right content writer, the ones that we've already done the vetting, they've worked with us on different projects. Because I think as people scale their small businesses, when they're letting go of one piece at a time so they can focus on the areas that they truly love, we need to connect them with people that are the right fit personality wise, first and foremost, ethics, beliefs. You know, they might have great skills as, a service provider, but if they rub you the wrong way, what's the point? You're not going to enjoy working with them. So making sure those connections occur, and whether it's content writers, social media managers, all the different parts to help your online business and website just function properly, so that our main goal is to get you back where you're focused on your area of expertise as a business owner, the area you love, so you can outsource the areas that you're not passionate about. Because when you're putting in non-passionate work, it's like 10% result, right? When you
Right.
have somebody that's working their wheelhouse, oh, the magic it can make, it's incredible.
Exactly. And so, to points for that, I would say for myself, if I am going to have staff, or we'll say a VA, or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
for me, it's very important that they get to know my voice and what I'm trying to and how I'm trying to come across to people, so that I can know that that right message and that feel and that emotion is going out there. Because what I do is it is very emotional when you work with people regarding, their deepest thoughts and how they
Yes.
feel and how they feel about themselves, and, their beliefs. That you have to get people to open up quite a bit. So
And
so
then,
it's important to me for having those people in the right people doing that. And that's very important. So when you can match people up with what they actually need. And I will say, Christine, that too, you're so right. When we have our lane, we have our area of genius and what we do. And I have to say, I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish technically, that because that's not my wheelhouse. So, but for me to have people to be able to help me in those areas, then I can spend my time focusing on what is going to make the biggest difference for my business, that I can do and do the best myself. and leave the other stuff to other people. Because when I find myself, if I get pulled into that, I'm spinning wheels, and it is so emotionally and physically draining.
It
It
is,
really
isn't
is.
it?
It really is. So I just want to put this out there for my viewers and listeners. If you're finding yourself feeling like you're emotionally spent, you're physically spent, and you're not making traction, then you definitely need to find somebody like people that Christine have in her agency. Because Christine, you operate a whole agency, and like you said, can you tell everybody a little bit about that a little more?
Yes. So the agency is actually made up of a number of, I think we're at 15 different service providers. We each focus on our area of expertise. And like I said, they're all mom entrepreneur based businesses. They've they either have social media, some are strategists, some are VAs, but all in all, it we pull together to create the perfect package for the client, and so that way we not only help grow our, so we call it our business family, whether you're a client or network partner. They are not my employees, and we like it that way because for myself, one of my just things that truly matter to me is at its core, everything is based around family. And I built my business that way, that every client I work with, I like at that discovery call, I will talk to you and let you know about that structure. Like I am going to check up on you if you're feeling sick. If you tell me that Johnny's going to start high school, I'm going to say, hey, how was Johnny's first day at high school? Because we become that close. And if I tell you at the Discovery Con that kind of makes you skittish or and uncomfortable, it's okay because maybe we're not the right fit.
Right, right.
But because I know if I treat you like family or we treat each other like family, I'm invested in your business, whether I'm in your business working it or one of my network partners are. Because, like I said, our network partners are sisters too. To myself, I treat them like sisters. They're going to treat our extended family just like extended family. So at its core, that's how we operate. And I've had so many different mentors tell me, you got to remove that part out of the business, and I refuse because it's powered. It's what it just what's it's our power. It's our battery.
Right. Right. And I applaud you in that, Christine. I applaud you in that because when you have people telling you, "Hey, you'll do better and you'll make more money and you'll move further if you remove this piece,"
Mhm.
but for you to know that that aspect, that specific, having it be that family or that emotional connection that you have creates joy in your life, and that makes you so involved in every aspect of your business in a positive manner, because you want the best outcome for them that's going to affect them personally
Yes,
in the best way.
absolutely.
So I applaud you in that you're sticking to your guns, and kudos, and it's a wonderful thing. You're doing it, girl. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
There.
very much.
So, it's been so wonderful chatting with you and getting to know a little bit more about you and what it is that you do. So, do you have any special offers for our viewers and listeners?
If you currently have a website and you just wanted to do a quick audit on it, make sure that your content is kind of aligned and all the things, we have a DIY content audit. It's like a planner right on the website at the it's virtual collab. It's hub.com.
Okay, can you say that again a little slower for everybody?
Sure.
Yep.
Virtual collab hub.com.
Virtualcollabhub.com.
Yes.
Okay, great, great. Well, I'm sure people will reach out to you. And for anyone who wants to find out more about me, I have a special promotion. If you text the word goal, GOAL, to 26786. I have special gifts there for everybody. So that's goal, GOAL, to 26786. There. And you can go right to my website, Patricia Jo Grover. And that's patriciajogrover.com. And so there you'll find out more about me. And I have a little video at the end. So welcome to the Rise Above show with Patricia Jo Grover, where we rise above our challenges and we turn believers into achievers. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being with me, Christine.
Thanks.